Wanted to talk about, I simply don't have what it takes to do it, honestly. I don't, I'm 100% not that guy. Never have been, never will be. But I wanted to talk about, this came up when I was thinking about Blondie telling me I don't deserve Mary Bowberry, and how he's gonna kill her even if I am successful to teach me a lesson, because that's who Blondie really is. When I say that the wives don't actually know Blondie, they don't actually know Blondie, because everything these people do is fake. Remember, you virtue signal being kind and good, so you can get what you want. You can work surreptitiously against the people you're pretending to help, which is what Blondie does. This is why you should never trust an antisocial sack of shit, especially if they're a member of this church. Everything is sideways, everything is backwards. So I wanted to talk about gatekeeping, because Blondie deciding I don't get Mary Bowberry is probably the pinnacle of gatekeeping. He has no business deciding what I should or should not get in my life, and yet he's making that decision all on his own. You don't deserve it! No. Blondie, you don't deserve shit, dude. You've murdered 6 kids and 7 women, okay? You're a bastard. You're the biggest bastard on the planet, and all you do is lie and manipulate. Like, you're literally the devil himself incarnate. These are all the descriptions of the devil in the fucking Bible, okay? That is a fact. That is how that works. You don't get to do the bad things and then scream you're somehow the victim in it. But I wanted to talk about gatekeeping, because I also had a flashback to Wendy's when Officer Fred said, they don't gatekeep. It's not gatekeeping. It is gatekeeping. I stepped into my greatness already. I did all these really great things, and then the president of the church said, well, we're not going to recognize them. We're not going to recognize that you beat us. We're not going to pay attention to anything you did, because we poisoned you with heavy metals until you're retarded, and that's how that works. We win. But once again, would they actually be okay if somebody figured out a way to just keep poisoning their church leaders with heavy metals until they're retarded, until their brains stop working, until they can't function anymore? I guarantee you there would be a problem with that, because if you're gonna do unto others, you should be thrilled when they do to you as you do to them. Okay. If somebody successfully, and I would argue, if you are a wife that is a victim of these people, you should probably start poisoning your husband with aluminum. Because I'm assuming the wife and husband dynamic works the same. You're the woman, you make the food. Start putting aluminum in it. Just do it. Okay, and once your husband turns into a coward and he starts pussying out of everything, you look the church dead in the face and go, do unto others as they do to you. He poisoned us with heavy metals, we're poisoning him with heavy metals. It's fair game, thank you, it didn't violate your stupid fucking rules. This gatekeeping shit came up, what I was thinking, dude, it popped into my head, because part of gatekeeping is anybody you let in, they have to think and operate just like you. And I would like to point out over the course of these videos, where as I get increasingly pissed off that everybody's refusing to help me and nobody's fucking helping me and blah blah blah, I realized, because what did I say? If they give me the $4 billion, I'm not helping anybody ever. If they give me the money, I'm never going to do a damn thing for anyone ever again. Yeah, I feel that way. And I think that's by design, because once again, that's them making me like them. Okay? And this is by design, by the way. And if we were in a natural world where I wasn't under a fucking contract and Blondie didn't lie and say he was going to let me out of the contract. And once again, I would argue Blondie drank coffee when I was at Papa John's. That's not a joke. I was drinking a coffee and he took a sip of it. He drank coffee. He should be executed. That is their rules. They don't follow their own fucking rules. And this stupid shit that you have to have integrity and follow the rules has got to be the biggest fucking joke on the planet. Okay? Because these people don't follow their own rules. Once again, they said they wouldn't kill me and then I'm going to be a human sacrifice. That's murdering me, by the way, they're dumbass. Because you're lying. And you know you're lying. Okay? Like, stop fucking lying. Whatever, man. the whole goal of gatekeeping is to basically keep it in the family. Keep the greatness to a limited pack of people. That's why these people discover great people, murder them, and then steal their shit, and then run off and say they're great because they stole it from somebody else that was probably disadvantaged. And yes, it's always disadvantaged they steal greatness from. It's an entire class system. If you're in this church, once again, you are the reason America is going to shit. You're the reason for that's why billionaires exist. Because you facilitate that system. Okay? And dude, like I said, I don't even fucking get as far off the rails these people go. How they just do all the horrible shit and then somehow scream they're the victims in it. Like, yes, so this is gatekeeping. And I would argue this is the thing Jesus talked about when he said don't worship the false prophet, because all false prophets tell you there can be nobody else before them, so murder them! That's how that works! Then let's talk about that shit. When I was out there doing the spiritual nonsense, and I was talking about that dream about being from the tree of Yggdrasil, if you guys watched that weird video where I was talking about spirit nonsense, I don't care for spirit nonsense, but the next person that's after me, the next fruit of Yggdrasil before the last guy that just comes over during a refugee crisis and just starts murdering everyone, and that is what happens with the last prophet, is that guy's a beast and he comes over during a refugee crisis and starts a wholesale slaughter stateside, and it is just a bloody battle. And this church is thrilled, by the way, because they think they're finally going to win when they lose, and they lose big, and they lose horribly. But that guy murders everyone, so the last prophet. The person that's supposed to come after me, the next fruit of Yggdrasil or whatever, that weirdo, they get murdered. And they get murdered because of this fucking church. Okay? So, once again, if every person that's supposed to be a prophet is a turning point in history, Abraham Lincoln was a turning point in history, got a bullet to the head. Martin Luther King was a turning point in history, got a bullet to the head. Kennedy was a turning point in history, got a bullet to the head. And all these people were all murdered by the same church. Okay, so all they do is kill the true prophets, and for some reason they think they're the real Jews, and they're going to be the real ones to get into heaven. All we did was murder the prophets and eat their brains! Oh boy! Like, straight to hell, dude. Straight to hell. Now, I'm just going to take this moment to come up with another idea that I think could solve this problem. Just like I said, like religious leaks. You create a religious leaks website, and then you just dox the shit out of these people and tell the world how disgusting they are until people run these people out of their neighborhoods. Okay? That is the only way to deal with this kind of shit. The U.S. government can't help you. They're useless. A movie needs to be made about cults, and it should have every practice this cult does, okay? Including the rules are beyond the holy guy on top, the guy that's the president. His own rules that he made up and are complete bullshit, they're above him. And everybody else has to follow them. And whenever anything goes wrong, he just points at the rules and goes, that's how that is. That's not me. That's the rules. That's the rules. And also neurotic and weird. He has to drink lead. And he should have a little bit of this Carl Jung shit where he's like, when you can make the unconscious conscious, how do you do that? You drink tetralead until your conscious mind is destroyed and nothing left is the unconscious, the brain that doesn't work correctly. I pop LSD and I can see the future. I know when people are gonna die because I'll send a church member out to murder them. And I would even go as far to even put in the whole strychnine and aluminum phosphide poisons and everything these people do, especially the anal rape. That would be the holy rape, where he's like, it's a great thing, I'm going to anoint you in your ass! And then he just rapes everybody. And at some point, because he's a malignant narcissist with control issues, you would go over how these people react to everything. There'd be like some lady that some other guy likes, and the malignant narcissist gets jealous, so he wants that lady, so he murders that guy, forces that woman to join the cult. And then even when he gets her, and the whole reason the guy likes her is because she's perky and happy, he just poisons her with heavy metals and rapes her and rapes her and rapes her until she's a broken person and there's nothing left, but he just keeps doing it because he's a malignant narcissist and he doesn't understand what he's doing at all. He just doesn't care as long as he gets what he wants. And then that lady ends up in the plains of drugs, which is what the peak of this church is. Once you become more fucked up and mentally ill, the most fucked up and mentally ill person you can possibly be, you get to go out and just do drugs. So this guy would have his own little plane of drugs and his little cult, where they just dump people who they completely fuck over and just completely destroy their minds. So they just leave them out there high on drugs all the time, and then they die of being high on drugs and they consider it holy. Fucking, and anytime there's a problem, the guy's just like, do your LSD, stop complaining, take it in the ass, mentally, emotionally, and physically, and spiritually, that's what you do. Suffering's good for you. Having a sorrowful soul is good for you. Being miserable is good for you. It's good for you. It's good for you. And it would just be this guy doing this again and again and again. And it wouldn't be that smooth operator. Like, the only time this guy would be smooth is when he's giving speeches in front of everybody at the church. The other times he would be smooth would be casually love bombing women to get them to join his stupid fucking cult. At some point, a psychologist should come in and diagnose him, and then he should just order the death of the psychologist. And he would just go, the rules say they're not allowed to diagnose me. The rules, you have to have integrity, which is actually obedience. And this would be funny, because there at the start of the church, there would be a point where he'd be going on about integrity, and then when everybody has integrity, they would be like, oh, but integrity aligns with our values. And then he would go to Nietzsche immediately. Friedrich Nietzsche says, throw your values out and you become your highest self. So we're just going to do what Friedrich Nietzsche and this Carl guy said. So you drink lead until you have only the unconscious mind. You never think. Thinking is stupid. You just do what I tell you, and you're not allowed to have values or morals of your own, and you're just going to do what I say because there's nothing else to stop me. And then there would be moments where somebody would create an intelligent argument with this guy, and then the LSD and water spray right to the face. Poof! And then he'd be like, you gotta get rid of your values! And it would just be him trying to circumnavigate this person's intelligence through hypnosis. And when that didn't work, he kills him. That's how that would work every fucking time. And it's just this guy doing this to everybody. Everybody he meets, he destroys their brains with heavy metals. He decides he can't, even people he likes, he hurts them because he doesn't understand why he does what he does. He has no agency in his life. He doesn't understand his own emotions. He doesn't understand why he acts the way he does. He doesn't understand anything he does. But the only thing he knows is he wants control. Even though he has no self-control or self-discipline of any kind, he has no ability, no way of making good decisions, and he just makes all the bad decisions all the fucking time. And everybody else has to suffer with it, and he screams it's their fault. It's their fault. He didn't do anything, and this would all culminate with this guy completely taking over a small town just through raping everybody's kid. He would target the children and just rape everybody's kid until everybody is severely emotionally stunted. And there would be the psychiatrist guy before he kills him. The psychiatrist guy would be the dude diagnosing with everybody and discovering that the emotionally stunted's on the rise, which would give him the fucking clue that this church is up to something. And then by the time he gets there, the psychologist dude should have this funny moment where he calls the FBI, and the FBI is just like, no, it's totally legal. We can't do anything because of the separation of church and state. They can rape little kids, and they can human traffic, and they can eat women's brains, and they can do all these horrible things. And the malignant narcissist is like that. Like, after he kills the psychologist dude, he eats his brain thinking he's going to learn psychology. He meets an intelligent person. He meets a kid. Let's say, like, you know, like how little kids think they have special powers. I don't know if you ever met a little kid, but sometimes some of them think they have special powers. There's like a little girl that's like, I can see auras, I'm magical, and he just murders her ass and eats her brain in front of the entire church, and he's like, the powers are for me, I'm the prophet, and anytime there's like another guy that's like, oh, I'm holy, or believe in Jesus, or I'm a prophet, this guy murders his ass, because he can't handle the fact that he's not actually special. This would be an amazing movie. Dude, I would watch a mini-series called The Cult. And then I would end it every episode with, there are 50 religions that actually practice this, and they're in your neighborhood. Yeah. Everything this guy does, from getting his members to drink tetraled, to hypnosis, to raping little kids, and I would do 50 religions, and they're all in your neighborhood. I would even do direct parallels where how like the church I talk about doesn't pay out. This guy church doesn't pay out unless they murder you. So anybody that does win against him, they lose because he goes out and kills him, and he's like, I'm the victim. And as they're committing atrocities, as he's killing and eating this little girl's brain in front of everybody and explaining to them the rules, and the rules would literally be like the Family Odd Parents. The rules would be on the wall, and he would just point at them every time. The rules he made up. The rules he made up. Okay? And the rules, I have to eat the little girl's brain. And this would be the hardest thing for the actor. Disingenuine behavior. Disingenuine. It would look like bad acting. It would look like as he's eating the little girl's brain, he would have tears coming out of his eyes, but his face would not be emoting actual sadness. He would have the particulars of looking like he's pretending to be sad when he's not. He's actually jealous that the little girl had special abilities and he can't fucking handle it. That's why he's killing her. He killed her and ate her brains. And this would be the same thing with everything this guy does. It would be, he would show up and say he wants to help people when all he wants to do is hurt and destroy them because he's terrified they're going to be better than him because he's a gatekeeper. Okay, and that would be his entire thing, and the entire thing would be like, oh, the town had all these art talents, all these special minds that were coming up, and this guy would just turn up, kill them, and have the church, the cult, kill them, and then he would eat their brains, and some of them wouldn't even know why. Like there'd be like kids on college campuses just going about their lives, and then these crazies would show up and abduct them and be like, this guy's super smart at math, and then the church leader would kill him and eat his brains and be like, I know what 2 times 2 equals 4. I have become super math man. Oh, I must eat more brains. And this shit, and once again, at the end of every episode, it would be 50. There are 50 churches that actually practice this that are near you at any given time. And this would be a great start to forcing the conversation of we need to get rid of churches. And I would even have at the beginning of the episode, at the beginning of the show, the following are based on actual events in which you're witnessing are the real behaviors of a malignant narcissist. I would even get into this guy explaining directly, and this is the thing, no complex language. Everything would have to be flat spoken. It would have to be plain language so the viewer understood what was going on. The church leader would figure out early on that kids that are molested, abused, or raped are emotionally stunted, and he would target those kids specifically. And this would result in the wives and every member of the church targeting people who are abused. And if there aren't enough abused victims, they go out and abuse victims. They go out and rape women and rape little kids and shit. So this guy can emotionally stunt them so he can control them. And then scream he's the victim in it. And anytime something comes up, he just points and goes, the rules, the rules, the rules, the rules. And this guy, which you would create a perfect character, is if everybody watching this movie or this episode, these episodes, this television show, just wanted to smash this guy's head with a fucking hammer. Because everything he does, he is a lying bastard, but then he goes integrity, honesty, transparency. I'm not gatekeeping, and everything he would do everything he said would be the opposite of what he means. Everything would be, he'd talk about holiness and shit, he'd be the devil himself. He'd be worshiping the fucking devil. Like, everything this guy does would be the opposite of what he intends for everybody to do. And anybody that figures it out would just immediately end up on the needs to be executed list. I would even go as far as, like, there'd be people who didn't actually violate the rules or the laws of the church, but this guy just decides they need to be dead. And that would be a trope in the show. Like, the members themselves, even the zealots, would be like, well, he didn't actually violate anything. And the guy's like, Dad! Dad! I want them dead! And then there would be a single episode where the malignant narcissist reveals his true past, that he was abused as a kid, and these things happened to him, so he's the eternal victim. And that makes it okay for him to do it to everybody else because it happened to him. And what he wants is everybody on the planet to feel as miserable as he does. And nobody's allowed to be great. Nobody's allowed to go anywhere because he has to be in control of that. And if he's not in control of it, it's not fair. Yeah. Trust me. You create this show and you just swing the cross in the background and just go holy, holy, Bible, Bible, holy, holy, Bible, Bible, holy, holy, Bible, Bible, all through it. People will tune in and watch this just for how perverse and fucked up it gets. And for every member that's like in the church, you could give them concising directive arcs. There would be like the reason this guy eats the brains of the kids in front of them is to traumatize them. That is an actual tactic of cults. It's think Midsummer when they show the old people jump to their deaths. That's trauma. That's traumatizing somebody. That's why you do that. So this guy killing and eating little kids' brains would be normal, but then he would also explain these are the rules of the church, and he doesn't want to do this. He's the victim when he's actually secretly jealous. I would argue there should be diaries. The guy should write in his diary about how this little bitch of a kid had special abilities because God loved her and not me because I'm a loser. And then he would like fucking eat her brains. And that would be his entire fucking metric. The show would just drive home how perverse and disgusting churches are. And maybe this single show could start a series of shows about how disgusting and perverse churches are. And then eventually we could get rid of the First Amendment, and then eventually we could get rid of all churches. I think that would be a really good move. Dude, trust me, people will tune in for this because it would be the most bizarre, weird fucking thing. And I would even go as far as they say, like, normal people are